welcome back to Trucking with Velox 18. Trucking Tennessee with Velox 18. Trucking America with Velox 18. Trucking across the USA with Velox 18. I don't know. Trucking with Velox 18. That's what we're going to stick with. We're over here at the truck. Before we can even get started today, I got to replace the battery in the reefer. Then we got a load to go pick up. And man, it's been a tough few days. Sorry for no videos for a while. But my dad's been in the hospital, and so I've been kind of like hemming and hawing on whether or not to take loads, because I felt like, well, I might need to grab a plane and fly out to California. And then I got some decent news last night, good as it can be, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna book a load. And then I booked a load, and then today we got bad news. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough load for me. But this video is dedicated to my dad. Dad, I left the stash for you, because you've always had a killer stash, and well, that's maybe not recently, but my memory of my dad is a Brickyard 400 shirt and a killer mustache, man. So anyway, Dad, love you. This video is for you, and on that note, smooth transition into the fact that this video is brought to you by DriveWise. It's the app on your phone that you can download onto your phone. It's $18 a month, best $18 you'll spend every month, and it will help you bypass thousands of weigh stations all across the country and in Canada. And man, I look forward to using that on this trip, because I like just cruising, man. I don't want to have to pull into all these weigh stations, all these ports of entry, especially out here running the Midwest and the East Coast. Man, you can go in and out of a lot of states, so there's lots of ports of entry, and way more than California and Nevada. You look at the map, okay? It's just all the states are big on the left side of the map. That's the west side, and all the states on the other side of the Mississippi, they start to get smaller and smaller and smaller until you get up into the Northeast, and it's all just a mess up there. But you go across a lot more scales, because there's a lot more ports of entry, because you're going in and out of state lines, and so you get DriveWise pre-clear, and that will help you to bypass all those scales. Maybe not all of them. You have to go in every once in a while, all right? Just every once in a while. It's like 90-something% that they get you bypassed. So that's a pretty good rate. You know, I'll take it. I'll take it. But anyway, with that, we're gonna roll the music, and then we're gonna replace this battery real quick. So roll the music. Alright, so I hopped up there, and I opened this little door on the right side where the control module is. And, well, it didn't take me very long before I got stumped. Kind of embarrassing, but hey, we got it done eventually. I ended up being late to my appointment, but got this thing open, replaced the battery. It works like a charm. And well, this is pretty much time to go trucking. All right, we checked in over. Oh, the mustache! I forgot about the mustache for a second. So I went to go make sure I checked in, but they check you in at the gate when you come in. So I just got here to Lineage Logistics in Murfreesboro, and while I was late, I was trying to change out my reefer battery. And guys, I'm not a mechanic. My dad was a mechanic my whole life, but he worked on all my stuff for me. I didn't learn from him. But then, yeah, so all this stuff, I'm clueless, man. I had to call Martin from Trucking Together and ask him some questions. Hey, what am I doing here? Why am I dumb? He's like, because you're dumb. You're really dumb. So anyway, I got the wrong battery, and then so I had to go, and I ended up going over to Love's and buying a battery over there, the right battery. And then I told the guy, how much would you guys charge me to put it in for me? Because I'm tired, I'm late for my appointment. And he's like, I'll throw it in for you. So he threw it in for me real quick, did it in like 5 minutes, and I got over here about 45 minutes late to my appointment. But, you know, it is what it is. And these guys, I called ahead and let them know I was having trouble with the reefer. I honestly just didn't give myself enough time. I got to the truck 2 hours before my appointment time. It took about a half hour to get here. So I blew an hour and a half, like taking out the battery, going and trying to get the wrong battery, coming back to, and then I was like, I'm just gonna drive the truck over to Love's. That's the best thing to do. I don't know why I didn't think of that in the first place. Because I'm dumb. All right, let's see how long this takes. All right, well, they got me out of there early enough that I decided I'd just come home. So even though I was late over there, they got me out of there quick. And so I came home, and I'm going to spend the night here because this load doesn't deliver until 9 p.m. tomorrow night up in Columbus. So it's like 6.5, 7 hours. And so 9 p.m., you know, I don't got to leave here till like noon. So I decided to come back home. I parked the truck. Miles came and got me. And, man, just enjoying the stars and you know, figure I'll spend the night, one more night at home. I've spent enough nights at home. I don't think I need to spend any more time at home, but why sleep in the sleeper and park somewhere? It's late enough at night that I wasn't gonna be able to find somewhere good to park. So it's like, why force it? You know, kind of tired. So we'll, you know, hit the hay and then we'll start trucking tomorrow. Let's do this. Gussie Berry, you ready to give Daddy a ride to the big truck?
Okay.
Okay. What are you eating? Are you eating peanut butter jellies?
Are you shy because of the camera?
Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. All right, we are on our way here, headed north towards Nashville. We'll go through Nashville, Louisville, and Cincinnati on our way to Columbus, Ohio. So probably hit a little bit of traffic here and there, but that's okay. I think this car is probably getting off. Yeah, okay, they are. All right, we're good. So I said, I mentioned you guys this video is dedicated to my dad. So, you know, this week has been a weird week. He's been in the hospital and then kind of trying to decide if, you know, I should fly out there or not. And I decided to work, and now probably today he'll be sent home on hospice. So, you know, all that I'm doing today, all I can think about is just, you know, my mom, my dad, my family. So the only way I can make a video is if I try to incorporate him into it and make this video about him, because otherwise I'm just gonna be a mess, you know. I can't sit here and be like, hey, Bella's 18, elbow no Bella's, and like try and act a fool and be all chipper and happy, and then at the same time over here like, you know, crying behind the scenes. So I figured like I'm not that good of an actor. I'm really not. So I figured what I'd do is I'd incorporate him into the video as a way to honor him. You know, the best I can do is sitting here in a truck in Tennessee and Ohio, Kentucky, is to honor him with the video. Try and tell you guys about all the good stuff, all the stuff that as a 38-year-old man that I can remember, you know, about my dad and things I learned from my dad, and honor him in that way, but also kind of process my own grief in that way. And I might shed a tear or two, and I'll wear my sunglasses and try to keep it from being too much of a bummer video. But I want to you know, I want to show you guys this load, and I want to, you know, make a video, you know, do my normal thing. But I guess this is kind of like, this is what vlogging is, right? You're like, I'm like really showing you guys like this is real life stuff that we're going through. Like, it's not just like, oh, did I get the load or did I not get the load, or, you know, did I make money or did I not make money? It's like, now this is real life right now, man. This is real life, and this is just what's going on in my life. And you guys have been watching me this far, and so we're just gonna incorporate that into this video, and I hope you don't mind. And oh, that sucks. Anyway, so Dad, I hope you like this video, and hope you get a chance to watch it. And yeah, we'll keep on trucking. Let's go. there next to my suction cup, you can see Nissan Stadium right here in Nashville. It's where the Tennessee Titans lost to the Cincinnati Bengals in the divisional round of the playoffs, just in case anyone was wondering. But yeah, that's probably a good place to start with, like, my dad, because my dad would tell you, you know, he lost a lot of time early on in his life, because he was an alcoholic until he was 40, and he was not like a raging, you know, drunk or anything. He didn't get mad or angry or crazy. We barely noticed. My mom didn't, but as kids, it was just kind of normal. And but when he tells the story afterwards, it's like you know, he kind of just lived for, you know, getting off work and drinking beer. That was his thing. And so when your life revolves around something like drinking beer, that's called being an alcoholic. So anyway, so he doesn't, you know, for him, he feels like those years were, you know, he missed some opportunities, and I'm sure he did, but those are the years that I remember vividly, because I was a little kid. I loved football. I used to want to be a receiver in the NFL. That was my dream, until I ran a like 4.940, and I was like, yeah, I'm not fast enough. I run offensive lineman speed, but I'm only like 180 pounds, so I don't know what's in the road right here, but that looks like maybe a whitetail got blown up right there. Just blown up. That's crazy. All right. Yeah, so back to football. So my dad would come home from work pretty much every night after working a full day of work. Another connection here. He worked for Nissan. He worked at a Nissan dealership of some sort or another most of my childhood. And he would get done working on Nissans all day, and then he'd get home, and I'd ask him to play catch with me, like for like an hour or more, and I'd just run back and forth on the front grass, and he'd stand there and he'd drink a beer, have a beer in one hand, and he'd have you know, he'd be catching the ball and then throwing it back to me, and I'd be trying to keep my feet in bounds on either side of the grass, and you know, I was having a blast, and you know, it's the kind of thing that I had to kind of learn from myself, was, you know, like that takes some like selflessness and some sacrifice, because, you know, you just worked all day, and then you come home and your kid just wants to play catch, and man, it's like when we get out on the road, you know, and then we get home and everyone wants to go and do stuff, and we're just tired. That's the kind of stuff my dad didn't ever have a problem doing. That stuff, he just was like, all right, let's do it, you know. I probably played catch with my dad in that grass more than I did anything else in my life. That was like the routine. So anyway, that's a good place to start with memory lane a little bit. Gives you a picture of who my dad is, though. He'd go to work all day and then come home, and he never told me no. Not a single time did he say, no, I won't play catch with you, I'm too tired, I'm too busy. He never told me no. I think one time or two times he tried to tell me he was too tired, and I begged him, but can't, just 5 minutes, and he's like, I can spare 5 minutes, you know, no big deal. But it was almost always just a yes, let's go, yeah, let's do it, yeah, come on, let's go. So yeah, that's a good one right there. So those early years, although, you know, he didn't become a Christian until he was 40 and was drinking and all that kind of stuff, they weren't totally lost. You know, he was still a loving and kind and good father. He just, you know, had his struggles like everyone does. So anyway, so that's a good story to start with right there. That's a good one, because that's probably that probably is up there with, like, you know, as far as like me and him one-on-one, like that was kind of our thing. That and just shooting hoops out in the front yard, just going out there and just like shooting around. But yeah, good place to start. Stopped at a rest area just north of Louisville and used the restroom. And now we're just going to keep on heading up I-71 from Louisville up through Cincinnati and then on to Columbus. I think we pick up 75 in Cincinnati, I-75. But nevertheless, I was just driving thinking about the advice my dad gave me. Unsolicited advice. I didn't ask him any advice when I got married because when I was 19 I knew everything. But he was the officiating pastor for my wedding, so he had he had an opportunity to share what he had learned in his marriage up to that point with my mom. And I remember he said, "There's one piece of advice I'll give you, and it's to die." Not die as in, croak over dead, but he said to die to myself, die to my desires and my wants, and not to put myself first. Marriage meant putting someone else first, holding someone else, living for someone else's well-being ahead of my own. And in that advice is wrapped up this I think this picture of the gospel that Jesus, he lived for our well-being, and he calls the church the bride of Christ, and he sacrificed himself for the church, and as husbands we're called to do the same thing. It says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her." And so anyway, so that was my dad's his advice. He shortened it to just die. But memorable, easier to remember that way. And then all those verses that are stored deep away in my mind, get brought up just from that one saying. I can't say that I'm very good at it, that I've lived by that the last however long. Almost 19 years in August that I've been married to Jessica, but I'm learning it little by little, day by day, trying to die a little bit more, as I am in my walk with the Lord, trying to die to myself and my flesh and my desires and my wants a little bit more every day and live more for Him and His glory. So definitely one of the things I'll remember, him marrying us, but also the advice he gave me: just die. Let's keep trucking. All right, we are crossing over the bridge into Cincinnati, and I forgot. So 75 was we were on the 71, but it was merged with the 75 for a while. But we're going. Let's see. Yeah, we're going 71 still, 71. But anyway, last time I came across this bridge going the other way, it was my first time ever going through Cincinnati, so we're going back through it again. But we're trying to be in a hurry, so can't stop and get any Skyline chili this time. But I can see the practice fields for the Cincinnati Bengals. What's going on? There it is, right underneath the railroad tracks and freeways and all that good stuff. Right outside Paul Brown Stadium, of course. But yeah, we'll stay in this middle lane. Columbus, right 2 lanes, all right. You can handle that. All right, just a little bit longer left. So something else about my dad. One of my friends wrote a comment on a Facebook post, and he said, "Your dad is one of the most authentic and genuinely kind people that he's ever had the privilege of knowing." And he said so many people have to try. It takes great effort to kind of show the love of Christ to people, and he said your dad just always seemed to do it so effortlessly, and I would agree. I think that it's part of the common grace that God gave him when He created him. He's just the kind of guy that would help people. He just always would help people. Always looking to see what he could do. Never for any didn't want to get patted on the back or anything. He just kind of was there to help. And man, we need more people like him that just see something that needs to be done and they just do it. They just step up and do it. I mean, he was president of the Little League, the baseball Little League when I was a kid for 1 year because no one else really wanted to do it. And they're like, well, Rick, your turn. And so he stepped up and he did it. Kind of the same thing happened when he became a pastor. He wasn't really ready to become a pastor, but they had seen him serve the church. He'd show up early and set up, at the time we were meeting in a recreation center, and he'd set up chairs, and he would drag the church trailer with all the sound equipment to and from church on Sundays. We stored it in our garage. He was just always there, ready to serve, and not looking for, the best seat at the table. He was looking to see what needed to be done, and then he was taking care of it. And that's kind of that when Jesus said the first will be last and the last will be first, in the kingdom. I really think it's because people who are genuine in their serving of other people, they'll be put first. They'll be elevated, and then the people who want to be elevated, who want to be, the pastor up front, and the people who want to be noticed for everything they do, they're going to be last. And so anyway, my dad kind of has embodied that my whole life. Just sees a need and steps up and fills it, and to the tune of pastoring the church that I grew up in. Only 3 years after he became a Christian, he was pastoring the church. Like I said, he wasn't really ready, but he was he was pressed into service and given the keys to the little church, and that was that. That was he just had to step up and do it. and they picked him to do it because he didn't want to do it, because they knew that his heart was genuine and true, and that he really had a servant's heart. And obviously that's the first criteria I think you should look for when you're looking for a pastor to serve a church, is that they want to serve and not be served. You know, that's what Jesus did. Jesus embodied that himself, and I think my dad's a lot like Jesus in that way. So definitely one of the things I need to learn from him, just to do it. I mean, I have learned from it, but you always think of the ways you could have done it better, things you could have stepped up to do that you didn't, and all that. But he was a great example of that type of selflessness. All right, we're coming into Columbus, Ohio, and I'll just be honest with you. Somebody, me, forgot that I was going from Central Time to Eastern Time. So instead of being an hour early, that's right, we're trying to get there. I'm actually running 2 minutes late right now. So hopefully, hopefully I can get in there and not have to wait until tomorrow to offload, because that would be a bummer. So anyway, I'll catch up with you guys when we actually get inside over there, because I need my phone for my GPS. This place is silly, man. So I come up, and all the Sigma drivers are coming out of a gate, and I'm like, that's their gate. I'm looking for another one. So I drive a little further down, and I'm like, okay, I don't see another gate, but there's this lot with all the trucks waiting. So I hop into the lot. I ask the guy, hey man, what do we do? He's like, oh, you gotta go over there and check in. So I go over there and check in. He goes, are you in the door? I said, no. He goes, you gotta go wait in that lot. Here, call this number when you get there. So I drive back over to the lot, and of course I call while I'm on my way there. So I just pull into the lot, and the guy's like, okay, what's your PO number? And so I told him, and then he's like, okay, go ahead and back into door 15 and bring your paperwork into the office. I'm like, son of a gun! We couldn't have done that when I was just standing there? It's so funny, man. It makes a little bit of sense. It makes a little bit of sense if, like, once you know that that's what you do, then you just drive over there and you don't even bother coming over here first. But when it's your first time, it's like, I came over here, I drove over there, then I came over here, and then I drove back over there and called to have them tell me to turn around and come right back over here. So anyway, it's pretty funny. But anyway, we'll get checked in, and hopefully we won't take too long. Let's see how long this takes. Okay, and these guys are getting right on it and getting me unloaded, man, like quick. Like, I backed in the dock for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, maybe 10, and they're already unloading me. So, hey, Sigma, Columbus, Ohio. This might be a good one. And everyone was super cool. The other driver, like, he's another, outside carrier that didn't know anything. He's the one who sent me over here just to send me back over there. Anyway, he didn't know what was up, but all their Sigma drivers, I was like asking them directions and stuff. One of them scanned his card to let me in the gate, so it'd be a little quicker and stuff. Everyone here's cool. I read some bad reviews. You know how it is when you read the bad reviews and then you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Those guys were rad. The guy in the office is super cool. We're talking about California. He's like, man, I love California. I'm like, yeah, it's nice to visit. But anyway, all right. Let's see how long this takes, but I think it's gonna be quick. All right, we got our paperwork, and that didn't take too long at all. About an hour and a half, give or take. Because I kind of drove around at first. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a nightmare. No, it wasn't. It was quick, easy money. I just gotta go and find somewhere to sleep now. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys when we get over wherever I'm gonna stop. I don't know. I'm I'm looking up some truck stops right now, and they're probably going to be full, but I'll figure it out. I don't know. We'll see. All right, we got it over here to the there's a Speedway. So it's like the 4th truck stop that I checked. I checked the Pilot in Columbus, and then I drove out here towards London, Ohio, and I checked the Pilot, the TA. Both of them were packed to the gills. Couldn't find a single open spot. Even the sketchy spots weren't open. And then just down the street here was a Speedway, and I saw some trucks parked, and I thought, well, maybe that Speedway is a truck stop Speedway. Well, look, it is. And look, there's still some parking available. So I got myself some a nice little spot squeezed in here between a Freightliner and a Volvo, and I'm gonna get some sleep. But yeah, we'll go inside and wrap up this video right now. All right, we got the we got the guy doing the lights check over here in the truck stop. Really thorough too. He's watching the whole cycle go through. He's getting different angles of it. Them brights are working, bruh. Them brights though. Them brights though. All right. This video's over. My dad is at home, in a hospital bed in the living room, and it's that time, man. It's that time. So I wish I could be there right now, but my brother, one of my older brothers, is there, and I know he's good at this kind of stuff. He's handling it, but I wish he didn't have to handle it, you know, alone. There's 3 of us sons that, you know, are all willing to kind of gel together and make something, just take a little bit of the burden off of each other, and then of course off of my mom during this time. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. I don't know. I just wish I could be there. It feels weird to be in a random Speedway truck stop in Ohio while that's happening back in California. So yeah, that's, I mean, I don't want to end the video on a downer. So I gotta tell you a couple funny stories about my dad. So he never really cussed much, even before he became a Christian, but after he became a Christian, he never cussed, ever. Like, I never heard it. Never, I don't think he said even damn after he became a Christian. It just, he didn't cuss. And the cat, my mom had this little furry cat named Hannah, and it jumped up on the table while he was eating, and he's sitting there looking at this cat like, you better get off the table, right? And he goes, get down off the table. Well, the cat proceeds to start doing the hairball thing. And I think my wife and I were either engaged or just married, because she was there, and she retells the story better than I do. But my dad's sitting there eating, and he goes, "Oh, you stupid pig of a cat!" And my wife looked at me and she's like, "I think your dad just cussed. I think your dad just cussed. I think that's the equivalent of your dad cussing." Was this cat that he didn't like to begin with, jumping up on the table and hacking up a hairball while he was trying to eat. Stupid pig of a cat. So you'll hear us around our household. We'll call people stupid pig of a cat every once in a while when we get really frustrated. Stupid pig of a cat. And then one of the other classics. There's a few of these that are classics, but this is probably, like, these are the top 2. My dad was getting a pizza out of the oven. It's one of the ones where you bake it on the rack. And so he had to get, or maybe he had, I don't know, he had a cookie sheet that didn't have sides on it, and he's pulling the pizza out of the oven, right? And it starts sliding off the side of the rack, or of the cookie sheet. So it's sliding off, and so he's kind of trying to like steer with it to like hold it onto it. And he's like, oh, and he ends up going boom against the pantry door. And then the pan falls out of his hand. and the pizza is cheese first against the pantry door, right? So he doesn't want it to fall on the floor, so he goes boom, and he puts his hand against it. Well, it's fresh out of the oven. It's super hot. So he's like, ow, ow, ow. And he's sliding down the pantry door with this pizza sliding all the way down. And so finally he grabs the thing, he's holding it with his hand, and then he gets it back on the tray, and he sets it up on the stove. He picks whatever cheese he can off the door and sets it back on there. He got a little cheese, extra like American cheese, or maybe it was some cheddar. Maybe some cheddar cheese out of the fridge, and just sprinkled a little bit on for whatever cheese was missing. Put it back in the oven for a couple minutes, got it out, and served it to my mom for dinner. And she had no clue until she's like, "Yeah, I thought this pizza was a little weird." So those are two of the classics. So I can't end this one on a sad note. I had to think of the funny stuff, man, the good stuff, and that's the good stuff right there. So love you guys. Peace out. See you on the next load.